We're going in for a panel about breaking down financial inclusion for the women at the bottom of the pyramid. We're going to understand now what financial inclusion is all about. And at this point, I invite the panelists. We have Primera Muthoni is the product specialist, MTN Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, a hand clap. Please join the panel, Primera. Thank you. We have Doreen Lukandwa, is the head of marketing and communications at Beyonic Uganda. Thank you. We have Kamusiime, manager customer experience at Your Uganda Limited. Please, Penny, if you could join the panel. We have Stella Lugalambi, co-founder of Hamwe East Africa Limited. Please. So ladies and gentlemen, and everyone watching us on BBS and Smart24 TV, we are going to be understanding the financial inclusion to the bottom of the pyramid. And I am Rita Kawenyoro. I'm going to be moderating the panel. Join us. Thank you. Yes, we're going to begin with Primera Muthoni. With clear bottom of pyramid examples, what is financial inclusion? Make sure the people watching us at BBS Terrifying us, Smart24 TV understand what we are talking about, please.
I would like to start with a very interesting document written in 2002 by Prahalad and Stewart, professors in the University of Michigan and North Carolina. In their paper in 2002, they asked the whole world to focus on the 4 billion people in the world and think of them as consumers. The 4 billion people they're talking about are people who are earning $1,500 and less in the world. That means they're earning that money in a year, which is about $4 a day. And they asked the companies to think of them as consumers and to be able to build products for them. It's been 18 years, and those people are considered the bottom of the pyramid. And in the last couple of years, that has quite changed. Some of those people have moved away from the poverty level to above the poverty line and actually earned more money. But when we talk about bottom of the pyramid, those are the people we are talking about who are earning that little. Now, financial inclusion means that we are building products for those people. Financial products means loans, insurance, payments, basically services that they can actually access to be part of the economy, digital economy in each and every part of their lives. Now, that is not very simple. When you think about someone earning $4 a day, that's literally less than 15 or 16,000 Uganda shillings a day. That means they have to eat, they have to pay school fees and pay for maybe shelter. They have a small business, they are going to the garden, they have possibly a worker helping them with the children. That is some of products our women in FinTech have been trying to build this week. And we've looked around a lot about how creative we are going to be and how innovative we are going to be in terms of building these products for them.
Yes, before you go to what you did on the week, because most of the people's understanding of financial inclusion, I have done some research. When you talk about it, their main runs to technology. How does it kick into this?
So we are trying in terms of financial inclusion, we have identified the people in the market who are basically not earning as much. So what we're trying to do in terms of financial inclusion is to ensure that they are able to access those services using technology. Technology in this case could be a mobile phone.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. We're going to move to Stella Lugalambi. Why should we care about financial technology?
Financial technology.
Financial inclusion in particular, sorry.
Yeah, at Hamwe, East Africa, we've been working at this for the last 3 years. We realized that we talk about digitalization, financial inclusion, using modern phones, but most of the people, even with phones, don't know how to operate them. So for us to have financial inclusion at Hamwe, we decided to use digital agents. These digital agents work with the rural farmers who may not have internet connection. Actually, there isn't internet connection in most of our villages, that is for sure. So they talk with them, show them, if you want to use the system, this is how you do it. You can order for services, you can actually get paid using this system, and they train the farmers. Currently, I think we have about 150 agents working with about 13,000 farmers who actually, even when they have phones, have never used it, have problems using that phone to access services. So our digital agents go with them, help them make orders for example, in agriculture, agro inputs, ordering for seeds, ordering for trampolines.
Sorry to interrupt. If you could extend on the microphone.
The chair
Thank
has
you.
refused.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So for us to have financial inclusion at my company, we have recruited digital agents. Digital agents are people from the same village, or maybe daughters and sons who have finished high school and don't have jobs, but can have a phone. And so they talk to the farmers in a group of 20 to 25 and ask them, do you want to order for these things? We can actually order for these things from Kampala. You can also get paid from here. So even if you don't have a phone, we create a token so that you are able to make an order and also to receive money using the modern technologies. That is one of the things we've been doing.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So thereby you're caring about financial inclusion. Thank you. We're going to move to Doreen to share with us, do we care about financial inclusion? Do the stakeholders actually care about financial inclusion? In this, I would love to hear examples to prove on how we care or on how the stakeholders care about financial inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So yes, I believe that we do care about financial inclusion. I think that the number of stakeholders involved in this process vary. You have people at regulatory level, you have the central bank, you have groups like FITSPA, you have programs like HiPipo, Women in FinTech, you have the MNOs on this panel like MTN, Airtel, and all the other players in the market and beyond the country. But all these people come together to create products that will enable, improve your way of living. For example, MTN gives you a SIM card that you can use to make calls. But what else can you do with that call when you're in crisis? Can you pay your bill? No. If you are deep in Karamoja and there's no network, how do you access that service? That's where you have fintechs coming in to bridge the gap between what the telco is providing and how you access that service. That's why you have services like Safe Border that are helping address social and economic challenges by enabling you track which border picks you up, where they drop you off, how much have you spent on that border, because in the event that you have a problem, you can go back to those records. It's why we have situations like projects like Hamwe that come in to help you build a digital record so that you can use that record to get credit from a bank. So yes, I think that there are very many stakeholders that are involved in this process and they are playing a part. And I think that we are moving in the right direction in terms of financial inclusion.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Which moves me to Penny here. What are those sectors what are organizations or the people that should be concerned about achieving financial inclusion, and are they taking lead on this?
Thank you, Rita, for that question.
If you could extend closer to, thank you.
I hope this is clear now. Thank you, Rita, for the question. What I would like to say is that there are a number of sectors that are involved, and ministries as well, because if you combine the economic sector, we have the economic sector, we have the finance sector, the two of them have to come together. We have the innovation sector, it is technology and innovations, they have to come together. Because if you look at what we are doing right now, we are trying to ensure that Uganda becomes one of those developed countries. Nobody wants to go to America just because they have these great innovations. You can do them here in Uganda. So one of the sectors is those are part of the sectors that we have. And then when it comes to the ministries, we have the Ministry of ICT. We have seen the agriculture sector, agriculture and fisheries also getting involved. That is why you're seeing a number of people here are developing applications in regards to agriculture. We have also heard of schools, Ministry of Education. Recently, Uganda had a project with MasterCard, and we were trying to ensure that people in the rural areas are able to make payments using the dial string. So if I have my phone, I should be able to pay for my son's school fees and not having to walk maybe 10 kilometers just to pay maybe 50,000. So some things like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Penny. And to each one of us here, especially the panelists here, you're going to be telling us with clear examples to explain on how your organization is incorporating each of these level 1 principles in its products and services. To begin with, Primera Muthoni, how do you incorporate the same day settlement? Just in less than 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita, for that question. I would like to address it from an industry level too, in terms of same-day settlement. What that basically means is that as soon as a transaction takes place, both the parties involved have their money with them. So traditionally, we are all used to using cash. I walk to a supermarket, I walk to a shop, what doesn't matter what I'm buying. I give someone cash, they give me my balance, and I walk away. Real-time transaction complete. But now, as we move to the world of fintech, we are finding that at the beginning, like when we've seen it evolve, as we've gone through the journey, we've seen there was a time where I needed to bank a check in a bank, and it took 3 days to clear. The idea that I could transact from one bank to another, and maybe I am in Stanchart to Stanbic Bank, and I'm trying to move money, it would even take 2 or 3 days to be able to finish that transaction. But as time has moved, we've seen that reduce. Today, if I want a check cleared and I walk into a bank in the morning and bank it, by afternoon, I have the money in my bank account. Today, if I want to move money from Standard Chartered to Stanbic, within a few minutes, that is complete. That's what we mean by...
Sorry to interrupt. Does the word same day mean that you are doing a lot of activities in one day? Do I get the rate?
It means that if I have done a transaction, the amount of money going to either party has already been received. Okay. If it is, for example, an e-commerce site, I go to Jumia to purchase a pair of shoes, the money has been deducted from my mobile money account or from my Visa card or debit card, and the Jumia has received their part of the money, and also the seller has received their part of the money. We've seen that with Mojaloop. They have a proper settlement layer, which is amazing. So what does that mean? So we have very many sections. We have, for example, B2B, business to business. I am a business trying to pay my suppliers. Suppliers need to be able to make sure that they have gotten that money the same day.
Okay.
You have a business to customer. For example, I have employees. I need to pay their salaries on time. and I pay them instantly. Like they don't have to wait for their salaries to be
Okay,
to
thank you
reflect
so
in
much.
the bank.
I guess it's understood.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We move to Stella Lugalambi. Tell us about the Tide KYC. How you are implementing this, incorporating this?
Thank you, Rita. At Hamwe, we're trying to incorporate everybody. And so just because you don't have a national ID doesn't mean you can't get money. So what we have done is we come up with different ways. We profile you, your location, where you are. And then if you actually don't have an ID, we have the location where you live. So our KYCs involve profiling the individual person, because we deal with payments to farmers mostly. And most farmers haven't gotten most identification. They are not working, so they don't have an ID. They have not registered for the national ID. We've gotten a few have party IDs, but there is no way of even verifying that. So we do a clear profile of their village, their location. Even if you don't have a land title, we know where you come from. So our KYCs involve your cooperative, your farmer group, your village savings group. And so that's how we managed to work out the labor one.
Thank you. Am I right if I say KYC is know your customer?
Yes, know your customer, know your client.
Thank you. From the reporting I've had with HiPipo, I know some of the technical languages. Thank you. We're going to Doreen to tell us how you incorporate real-time and immediate fund transfer, please.
So Beyonic comes in to support businesses. How we are doing that is we are providing a single access to multiple networks. So we come in to bridge the gap between one telco and another, as opposed to a business having to go to different telcos. You just log into one interface and you have access to over 25 mobile money networks, and you can track your payments coming in and going out. How we are doing that is we are taking what the MNOs are able to provide and extending that to you and your customers in real time. And what that looks like is that if you make a payment today, if you make a payment right now, your beneficiary, wherever they are in the country, will receive that payment instantly. But also, if you need to collect a payment from somebody, you will receive that money instantly. A good example is 1 Acre Fund that is supporting over 1 million farmers in multiple countries. They're able to pay those farmers loans or payments instantly in a matter of minutes and receive loan repayments in a matter of minutes.
Thank you so much, Doreen. We move to Penny to share with us how you incorporate low-cost user devices and pricing transparency in less than 3 minutes.
Thank you, Rita. So how Your Uganda is incorporating low-cost devices. Your Uganda has partnered with MTN, UNCDF, and FSD, and they have managed to buy phones. We had farmers in Mbale, and most of them are complaining they cannot transact or they cannot receive their payments because they don't have phones. So this partnership helped them to be able to have phones that can receive payments. And we gave the Chagalanyi Coffee people, we gave them a platform that they could send money to these farmers who had received the phones. Then in terms of transparency, our bulk payments platform has features where you can be able to get reports that have the cash out charges. These are the transaction charges. And then also these charges are also seen when you're sending payments. For example, if you dial our code, which is *217#, you'll be able to make a payment. And before you put in the PIN, there's always the summary of what you're being charged and the amount you're being charged. Then if it all is okay, you can put in the PIN. So that is how we are incorporating the transparency of charges.
Yes. Thank you so much. Still on you, Penny, in just less than 2 minutes, if you could share with us what are the key obstacles to achieving women financial inclusion in less than 2 minutes.
Thank you, Rita. What I've noticed is that people don't have interest. They think they have the phone for just Facebook or WhatsApp, but they don't realize that you can do a lot more with your phone. Then when it comes to the rural areas, I'll keep mentioning this, a number of women there don't have phones, and they always say they don't know how to read or they don't know how to use it. They just end up using it to make and receive calls. So I think the mindset here needs to be changed so that people know that, you know what, you can use your phone for a lot more than just making and receiving calls.
Okay, thank you so much. Doreen, please share with us on the same insight on the obstacles hindering the achieving of women financial inclusion.
I think it's primarily an inherent culture issue that is starting to break, especially with newer generations and more innovation, where there are a lot of sessions around capacity building, a lot of sessions around opportunities for funding. I think those are important aspects to ensuring that more women are financially included, especially if you have programs like this that allow women to kind of think together and have sort of peer-to-peer conversations around how they can grow. But ultimately, I think it comes down to providing women with more opportunities and more examples that they can look up to in being able to see how they can get to where they want to go.
Okay, thank you so much. As we close to the conclusion of this panel, I would like Primera to share with us as women, as a woman, what exactly needs to be done to address the gender diversity with the issue in the fintech industry.
Thank you, Rita, for that question. The problem is threefold, in my opinion. The first one is that we have basically very few women in tech and even fewer in fintech. The second issue is that we have very few women founders and leaders within the fintech space. And the third problem is that we have very few women there is very few women when we try to create products for them in the user base. So one of the things we can do is, as we design products and services for women in fintech, we need to ask women themselves, the women that we are creating the products for, and also ask people who are in touch with the women we are talking about. If we can't find the women themselves where they are, we need to be able to ask people who know about them. Then the next one is about visibility of women who are already in fintech, who are already doing an amazing job. We need to be able to know who they are, where they are. It encourages other women who are already pursuing those careers to be able to stay in them. Then the other one also starts from the very basic, being able to encourage women to be able to actually take on tech careers in themselves and being able to show them the advantages of taking on those jobs. Then the last one I've seen this week is networking, what this forum has been able to bring. And all the 15 teams that have been there this week, this is the beginning of a journey of networking and networking with each other.
Okay, thank you so much. The same one to Stella, share with us as a woman what exactly needs to be done to address gender diversity issue in the fintech industry in less than 2 minutes.
Okay, thanks, Rita. One of the things that need to be done is it's being done now. Okay. Encourage young women to actually innovate in the field. But that's not enough. We should encourage them to stay, because one of the things is, yes, we hire, but do we encourage them to stay? They are innovating. How do we encourage them to stay? Can they get funding that is specific to women who have actually innovated? That way they can stay more than 3 years or 4 years. Can they get business, educate them? These 15 groups should not die in 2023. They should stay until 2030 until they don't want to, and they should encourage other people to stay in them.
Thank you. I bet HiPipo is working on that. I bet. Thank you so much. And in 30 seconds, we are concluding. 30 seconds to begin with you, Stella. Give your concluding remarks. What do you pick from the discussion, or anything you would like to conclude with? 30 seconds. Thank you.
I would like to thank HiPipo for this continued interest in fintech, and I would also want to encourage employers out there to employ women in financial services, because most of the times at high tables in these financial industries, you find one woman, 10 men.
Okay. Thank you. Please, Doreen.
I would say that technology is a means to an end. Taking advantage of it means that you're opening up the number of opportunities you can access. Attending sessions like this means that you can engage and interact with more people who are going through the same thing but have also done it before. So indulge and speak to people who have done it before. Do not be afraid of what is ahead of you. The challenges are there to make you stronger and more resilient. Okay. But there's also so much that you can do and that we can do as women if we come together.
Thank you. Please, Primera, share with us.
Be resilient, keep with your ideas, network, and figure out your way forward with your business. There is so much room at the top for you to shine.
Thank you so much. Yes, please.
What I would like to say is that no matter what you do, what you studied, if you really feel like you want to go for IT, go for it. I mean, there's so many people who are doing this, and I believe that if you know the right people, meet the right people, you will get to the right place that you want to be.
Okay, thank you so much for discussing insights around here. I hope they're changing lives already with the women here and everyone watching. For now, we conclude the panel, and I invite you for a photo moment.
HiPipo is proud to present Women in FinTech, another innovative initiative under its Include Everyone program, as it continues to lead the way in advocacy for the creation and dissemination of technology that enables financial inclusivity. Women in FinTech is presented in proud partnership with Crosslake Technologies, ModusBox, the Mojaloop Foundation, and Level 1 Project.